Natural disasters and enemies tried to destroy it, but we rebuilt the legendary city of Constantinople. When we started, our treasury was in shambles, but we recovered and turned Byzantium into an economic powerhouse and became the richest country in the entire world. Keep watching to see how we did it. So this is our current situation in 1370. We are making 53 ducats monthly. We still have a little bit of inflation, which we're working on. And as you can see, we're getting a lot of money from our estates. And this is because we didn't manage to get rid of all of our negative privileges that we had from the beginning. We also have reasonable crown power now. We have high values such as decentralization, aristocracy, communalism. We are working on innovativeness. And a matter of fact, we're going to switch one of these advisors to continue pushing because we have a maximum of 59. We're also making 30 ducats from diplomacy because we have 20 subjects, which we have begun annexing. We're annexing the Karasids right now in Anatolia. We annexed one subject over here that we had in Greece. Of course, there is a lot of cleaning up left to do. We'll have to fight Naples, Venice. We have even Serbia owning a location over here, so we need to take out Serbia. Probably will take out Wallachia. We're gonna continue pushing into Anatolia in this part of the campaign. And our biggest rival, of course, still is Egypt with 40,000 units. Now, if you want to see how we got to this point of the game, then watch the first video. I will leave the link in the video description and in a pinned comment. But now, let's go ahead and continue. Since we have already maxed out our communalism, we are gonna switch our employment system from equality to most profitable first for capital economy, because now we're gonna be pushing for capital economy value so that we can get building cost reduction and even production efficiency bonuses. We can get a little bit more of a bonus if we pick up one remaining privilege from the Burghers Commercial Advisory Council. Now we have 500 ducats. We're gonna spend some of our money, and one building that we haven't built yet we really desperately need to get, and that is the library. We still don't have the institutions, so this is gonna make them much cheaper, and we are also at the same time going to get bonuses for literacy, pop promotion speed, cultural influence, all the necessary stuff. So let's just mass build libraries in all of our towns. We just got brought into the most useless war I've seen so far. Somehow our subject is the leader of this war, the first rebellion against Sutaids, and we're fighting 18 defender countries for nothing. We don't even border these guys, and nobody is going to give us food access, so I'm not even sending an army. I'm gonna let our subjects do the work. If they brought themselves into this war, they can finish it. The only really annoying thing is that we cannot just peace out. We need to actually wait for them. Okay, now talking about wars, our next proper war is probably going to be against Trebizond, so we're going to prepare a little bit of a bigger army as well. Not that we need it for Trebizond, but in general we're going to need it because we're going to fight Serbia, Wallachia soon, and of course maybe Hungary is going to get involved, especially since they are now allied with Naples, and Naples is also going to be one of our targets. We haven't built a professional army yet. These were the only soldiers that we had from the beginning, so we're going to get some unique Byzantine units. We have Kutay infantry, which takes less morale damage. We have Varangians, which do more strength damage and do more morale damage as well. But we can only have one Varangian unit currently. We actually need to get some advances done to unlock more. And there is this unique cavalry, Byzantine cataphracts. They're also pretty good. Strength damage taken minus 25%, morale plus 33%. So we're going to recruit only these unique ones. And when we recruit soldiers, we're going to select the additional recruitment method for additional experience, which will make them take less damage. Now we got ourselves enough influence to pick one of the religious actions, and we're gonna go with Orthodox Synod and then with the fourth option because it allows us to grab 10 research progress, which is going to speed up our advances. There's a couple more researches queued up that I want to finish before embracing institutions, so we can in the meantime just let the institutions spread a little bit more and make them cheaper. I'm gonna be picking up the promote cultural unity privilege because we want to convert everything to the Greek culture, and we actually have some problems. A few of our locations don't have the majority of Greek population, so we actually need to convert them to have any control in them. Kinda need to start focusing on that. Let's pass a couple of agendas such as contain professional armies, plutocratic movement, capital economy, and then we can change another law. Even more capital economy push by switching our maritime law to shipwright standard regulation. So our subjects just finished that pointless war and they released like a bunch of separate independent little nations now. This is just weird. We, on the other hand, are about to finish pushing Trebizond. There's a couple more forts left to take down. Ooh, nice. We have some more silk available. We're going to build some of that because it's really profitable. 2.57 ducats for just one upgrade. Let's mass expand this. And we can start embracing some institutions because our research is about to be completed. So first of all, I'm just gonna go with Renaissance. It's only 14 stability for this. Immediately, we're gonna be queuing up some Renaissance research, starting with Renaissance itself. Possible government reform +1. Cabinet seat, very useful. Then we can go for cultural tradition. Crown power, even more cultural tradition and influence, and afterwards we can probably focus a little bit more on some naval stuff since we will have the banking unlocked too. And we're gonna push to unlock the bark ships as we need them for more maritime presence. So the thing with Trebizond is we cannot full annex them. We have to leave them with like one province. That's unfortunate, but we're just gonna take money and maybe we'll take the entirety of what's left in the next war if they're gonna survive. I want to have the ability to threaten a war to Eretnid, so we're gonna try and leave ourselves like a couple of provinces and not give it to new subjects, just for that, and everything else we will release as subjects. There's no historical subjects here, so we're gonna go for some custom ones instead. It is pretty wild how we can still select Trebizond as a rival, and that is because they are somehow the 16th greatest power in the world. Well, it's not really somehow, it's obvious why they're an empire, but it's a little bit weird how countries like this can become empires and get like a massive score bonus. The same thing is with Serbia. I believe they just need like one province somewhere here in Greece. They can become an empire and immediately they're like top 10 greatest power. Just realized the Timurids are creeping in. We're very close to them. We almost have a direct border. Stay away from us. That's actually insane how many vassals they have here. They have 36 total subjects and they are a rank above us. Do we need to be worried? Maybe let's get an alliance with Georgia. Maybe this is going to help us. Yeah, I think I'm gonna continue building up a stronger professional army. Let's continue grabbing some of these unique units. We're also gonna pick up professional armies before banking even, because we need more manpower. We have maxed out on the team headquarters. There's only one more left to build, so we need to unlock armories. There we go. Let's push for armory. And we can also expand the Varangian Guard at the same time, so we can have more of these unique units. In the professional army branch, there is one more unique advance, Shield of the West. This one I'm not really sold on because it's a cabinet action. You get extensive conscription that increases manpower by 10%. I don't think it's that useful. Like if it was a bonus, straight up bonus, then maybe. But as a cabinet action, we probably have some better stuff that we can do. Okay, so we did manage to get the Italians out of the coalition, and I'm saying Italians because Genoa is no longer really Italian. They're not based in Italy. The only locations they have here is in Anatolia, a couple of islands and one location here up top. This is actually really good. We're gonna be cleaning up this real nice. We're gonna be taking so much more stuff in Anatolia. We're gonna take out hopefully entirety of Eretnids. So yeah, we're making a claim on them. And I think I'm gonna make a claim on Serbia. Who does Serbia have as an ally? Wallachia and Volhynia. Yeah, sure, we can do another claim. Serfdom support, plutocratic movement, and we got it in the bag. Oh no, that sucks so much. We cannot threaten war on Eretnids. They would actually give it up, so we need to declare. Not sure if we can full annex them now, but I guess we can try. Okay, so realistically in this war, the only ones that have any units is the Eretnids with 5,000. Nobody else really stands a chance. But Mentis even owns Cyprus, so that's nice. We can take that too. And you guys, where are you going? You're not gonna go far. Take some of that. I guess everybody's just gonna continue walking into us. Okay, sure. We have rebuilding Constantinople event. The Byzantine policy for Constantinople has always been opening up the gates in order to populate city streets. After the Black Death has hit Constantinople, it had suffered tremendous losses, leaving many residences empty. The emperors made efforts to restore the city, however they would not be enough as the city's population would dwindle until its fall in 1453, which is something that we're not gonna allow to happen. We must rebuild the city at any cost. It's gonna cost us 7 stability. Venice and Genoa are going to get Genoa is going to get this event to build Galata in our capital, which is going to give us trade capacity and maritime presence. It's a bit funny how Genoa is one of the countries when we're currently fighting them. I wonder how that event would have looked like if we got it like a few months later when Genoa no longer even exists. Well, looks like we're not gonna get a full annexation of Eretnids because the Mamluks also declared a war and they're occupying province capitals. That is very unfortunate. Maybe we can get like half of them. And we just got access to another government reform. Now, let's go ahead and pick up some additional tax efficiency with private council. This is one of my favorite ones to get. I didn't realize, but we cannot take out the entirety of Menta seeds. So actually, we're gonna take something like this for now. We're gonna come in to clean this up later. 100% of a piece. We can take quite a lot of stuff from Eretnids, and this is what the coalition is going to look like. Egypt is very mad. We don't care about anybody else in this list, to be honest. So yeah, pretty much what we need to do now is immediately go after Serbia, because I'm pretty sure they will also enter. So get rid of our levies. Release whatever subjects we can release. If we can go for historical ones, then great, such as Cyprus. Again, we cannot threaten war, so we're gonna have to resort to just declaring. We can make Wallachia co-belligerent in this war. We're gonna see how much we can actually take here. Just before declaring, let's quickly insult Wallachia so that we don't take a stability hit, and then we are good to go. We're gonna start improving relations ahead of time, so hopefully these guys are not going to be too pissed off. So right now the coalition is basically nothing, but we're gonna see how differently it's gonna look after the war. Dude, our subjects are going ham. They're chasing these guys with 12,000. I'm gonna go after Wallachia in the meantime. Let's crush these guys. They only have 6k. Boom, there we go, 6 war score, and we can see that Serbia is already evacuating. Halic also has 5,000, and we have 2,000. Oh my god, these guys barely have an army. We can definitely split this into 2 stacks and start some more sieges at once. I've played so many low to mid-tier countries that it feels very weird having 5 cabinet seats before 1400. Definitely a change of pace playing an actual empire. Alright, awesome, we can annex another subject now that our previous annexation is done. And this one's gonna be super quick. 2.29 progress each month because they're much smaller than us, plus we have higher influence. We have formed a marriage union with Byzantium, Muscovy, Vladimir, and Nizhny Novgorod. Okay, so we have a new ruler now. Not much of a change, is it? Yeah, this is still pretty garbage. It's really about time that we grab an expand gravel road network parliament debate because we haven't been building roads yet and it's gonna be pretty useful. So this is our current road situation. The only ones that have been built were the ones that the other countries built that we annexed, or it simply was our burghers. We have nearly 2,000 ducats available, so we're gonna just go ham and build as many of these as possible. I just remember we really need to have access to a religious war CB. Yeah, so we started queuing up some professional army stuff, but we kind of need to return and finish this. We need to grab Deus Vult. There's only a couple of advances that we need for it. I'm just gonna continue spamming the synod every time we get 75 religious influence. We need more research. This is how much we could take from Serbia, and nobody would even really care. So yeah, I'm gonna be taking some stuff from Wallachia as well. I'm actually gonna entrap Wallachia so that Hungary no longer has access to it. We could also do the same thing with Serbia, so basically we create like this wall from Hungary so we can later absorb everything that's left. Weaponry, we need weaponry, so we're going to build quite a lot of these buildings. Come on, take your time with the forts. Not like this war has been going on for multiple years now. Oh, look at that, we have a new heir. He just got the gregarious trait, so he gets additional diplo ability increase. It really sucks that he's not in our country. He's the heir in Muscovy, so we cannot choose an education for him. I would love to give him expensive education. So let's take this from Wallachia. They're gonna be completely cut off, and we're gonna eat up the remainder in the next war. I actually don't really care about cutting their all treaties. They can keep treaties with like Halic, Moldavia. That doesn't really matter to us. Sure. And Serbia, you must give up this one location. We need it. And also we're just going to encircle them. Boom, 100% of a deal, and that's 170 antagonism. Look at this list. Nobody cares. This is actually wild. Well, I guess it makes sense because they're Orthodox. There's not that many Orthodox countries here. Everybody's that Orthodox is in Eastern Europe. Great, perfect. What a nice little expansion this was. I wonder if we're gonna be quick enough and we can declare on Mentecides before they join the coalition, because our truce is about to expire. And it just so happens that we just got the parliament, so we're gonna try and time this to make a claim and just immediately declare. Yep, this just worked out perfectly. That's a freebie for us. I actually really want to complete this parliament because promoting integration process is a really good one. We're gonna get some additional progress for the integration, and really we can chill out for a second. We don't need to go to constant war after war. I'm saying this as we just declared a war. So we got pretty okay-ish control, at least around our capital area right now. We're gonna increase this a little bit more by building some bridges. Mass build a bridge, and we're just gonna get it everywhere where it's possible. Another building that we're going to mass build is market villages for the market access, trade capacity, and food. And of course we're also going to get some fishing villages afterwards because they give you a harbor capacity on top of everything else that basically you get from the market villages too. The rival list is very narrow right now. We have to select between France and Bohemia, so I guess we're gonna go with France just because they're very far from us anyways. With Bohemia, we actually have a chance to make some diplomacy, maybe in the near future get an alliance. Poland is still a possibility, but I really don't like how they're allied with Hungary. At last, we have the armory. Alright, this is gonna be massive because we have a bunch of towns where we can get these, and we can even get multiple armories in some of them. Yeah, we're gonna rush for additional monthly research progress because that's gonna make us get all the following advances faster. That's a really nice, unique advance here. And we have Court of Languages, which increases Diplo capacity. Now, do we actually need this? We don't really need it. With 31 subjects, we only occupy 8 out of 11.70 Diplo capacity, so we're really looking good here. Let's go ahead and embrace meritocracy so that we can get the juicy 5% bonus for the research. So guys, we got declared on. This is the second war of anti-Byzantium coalition, and it's led by the Karamanids. The thing is that we cannot offer the Karamanids a sound toll exemption. They don't even have a coast. We could easily finish this war by just giving them war reparations, but we're just not gonna do it. We're gonna fight a couple of battles, and we either grab a white piece, or we could even try and fully dissolve the coalition if we wanted to. It would take 75% war score. So I'm not sure if we're gonna push for this, maybe just take a white piece, but yep, we have a pretty strong army right now. We have 36,000 soldiers in total, and our professional army is actually stronger than the Mamluks, which is the biggest nation in this coalition. We also have Venice. It's not, you know, too much of a threat, and just a ton of tiny nations inside here, so it's really not big of a deal. Dude, our subjects are about to beat up the Mamluks. What is going on here? They nearly did it with like 2 times smaller of an army. Time for the big boy battles. We have a bunch of nobodies against us. They had 12,000 and they lost all of their units. And I like the fact that the Mamluks are also splitting their army into 2 halves, so we can just quickly snipe one of these halves. And if all goes well, the second one is not gonna be there on time to protect them. There we go, exactly. We're gonna have a battle here in the mountains. Let's see how this one goes. What's up, boys? How are you doing? There we go. We just defeated these guys, and they didn't manage to join them on time. So now we're gonna have a separate battle, and again, we have a massive advantage. So we just easily crushed the Mamluks. And there we go, guys. Easy as that. We just won some battles. We got 23% war score from Defender Tikin, 12% from 51 battles, a little bit from blockades, and we can dissolve this coalition. Boom, there we go. Now the best thing about this is that this opens up for us an easy path to grab Serbia and Wallachia, because we actually no longer have a truce with them. So yeah, we're gonna finish our job the next time we have the parliament. That's a little bit annoying. Serbia just joined on the revolters side. Our subject started a war, so we're gonna have a longer truce with these guys. We might have to fight Wallachia on their own. Alright, Illyria annexes the revolter. They made the Serbia, oh my god, they made Serbia dismantle forts. That's just wild. That's what you get for joining on the revolter side, dog. I guess we now have to do this. Even though we have a truce, we just declare without Serbia being co-belligerent, because we do have a claim on Wallachia. And we cannot even wait because the claim is gonna expire. I love how the Anatolian rise of the Turks situation has settled, and now it's the rise of the Chandarids. The dream of the Chandarids ruler has now been achieved, and the world trembles at the might of Minor Beylik of Chandarids, which is our subject. By the way, guys, we have the religious war CB available now, so we're going to fabricate claims on these tiny nations in Anatolia that are left over still. And that includes Eretnitz. They still have a location. I want to continue building roads, but we don't have a sand discount. And actually, we need to work on lumber now as well. Well, I see one sand RGO here, but do we have any other ones than that? I guess we have like a couple of Sandar Geos available, so let's just quickly go ahead and upgrade those. I kind of forgot about this privilege. We have control over monetary policy, and it reduces our maximum tax for the burghers by 10%. It does reduce inflation, but I think we're going to be better off by removing it, especially since we already maxed out our innovativeness. So let's just pay the stability and get rid of this. We're going to have still 46% loyalty, which is good. It would be still nice to also remove a couple of noble privileges simply because they have still a lot of power and we get less taxes. A lot of these privileges are good though, so probably we're gonna get rid of nobility controlled serfdom and potentially fortification licenses, but we're gonna do it a little bit later. So Serbia is not co-belligerent. I'm really not even going to mess with them. I'm gonna take a couple of locations and we're gonna dip. We're gonna fight them again soon. And we finally can full annex Wallachia. We just got our casus bellis on both Eretnids and Karamanids, so it's time for a little bit of cleanup. We're making a religious war CB on Egypt right now, and since we don't have to make a claim through our parliament, we can go for larger levies instead. For 3 years, we're going to have 25% more levies. We already have a much larger professional army than the Mamluks, but they do have Yemen on their side, and surprisingly, Yemen is not doing too bad, 34,000 units. But this will just help us to be safe. Oh my god, what happened here? Georgia is now a subject of Chobanids. They're a tributary of the Chob. What the hell, man? I was gonna say, why cannot we curry favors? Something really curious happened here. Like, Georgia is much stronger than them, so I'm not sure why something like this would occur. Alright, and we are good to go. Oh crap, they actually lost that alliance. What happened here? Annual treaties. Yemen has been forced to annual treaties with Egypt until 1416. This is a golden opportunity then. I'm still going to drag in Georgia. We would have done perfectly fine, I'm sure, if Yemen was still there, but this is definitely a win for us, let's take that. We have 52,000 levies with the additional 25%, and we have a professional army now of nearly 10,000. And together with all of our subjects, we have 144,000 units already. So that's a pretty good advantage that we have over the Mamluks. I guess we'll have to leave a few units over here because they're trying to invade us. Or maybe we can just rely on our subjects to clean that up. Yeah, our subjects are doing fine. This is good. Not sure how I feel about this one though. Unless Georgia actually joined. They didn't join on time. Oh god. Okay, our boys got wiped out. That's why you guys should stick with us. I'm not sure what y'all doing there. Okay, he's doing a little bit of a mistake. He's splitting his units. We got 14,000 caught up here. There we go. They do still have 24,000 units on the fort. There we go, sir. You need to get out of here. Only one war score for that. Well, I guess we didn't really kill that many units. We got rid of like 3,000 and they escaped. We are losing a lot of war scores simply because our subjects are losing the battles. Like, they lost the majority of these battles. And he's a defender, so because we don't have the objective taken, they also get positive war score from that. I think we need to do a few more battles before we can think about occupying stuff. Hopefully we can do some good damage here. That's 7 war score this time, and they lost 18,000 units. Now that's a really good one. That's what I'm talking about. We need a couple more like that. Come here, Mamluks. Come here. That's another 20,000 here that potentially could get wiped out. That's minus 3,000. Not very good. We're gonna keep going though, and he's going to crack at some point. Look at that. Our vassals are doing the work. Come on, boys. Oh, that's awesome. They're actually doing something now. And we just wiped out another 16,000. So the Mamluks have less than 20k left. Only 12k left now after another battle. Yeah, this is where we can really start splitting up a little bit and occupying a couple of locations. He's about to occupy this fort as well. That's very annoying. With our current ships, we can transport 8,000. I guess we can do like a double split and transport some of these guys. Let's go for it. That will show him. Ooh, nice. We just finished researching trade fleets, which gives 10% additional maritime presence. So we have gunsmith, we have cannon maker, hoofsmiths, and then we have bark sink. Finally, we're gonna have the bark ships. So we're gonna get a crap ton of these to increase our maritime presence. And I'm gonna queue up some meritocracy stuff because it's pretty useful. Efficiency of the cabinet is good to have. Monthly literacy, tax efficiency. Chancery max level is pretty much also efficiency of the cabinet. Well, and literacy combined. So let's pick that up. Okay, sir, it's time to stop this nonsense. You have been bullying our guys. I'm gonna take their navy out once and for all. Alright, a good moment for us to pick up a claim on Serbia. It really is over for the Mamluks. We can split up our units into 4 groups now, since they're down to only 12,000. We have 3,000 laying around. I think it's time to get some more market villages. Let's just mass build them if we have the masonry. Yes, we do. Great, let's go. Holy crap. Gemistus Platon, let him stay on our court. The Hellenism religion will now be founded. I actually haven't seen this before. Hellenism apparently gives you 5% infantry power, skill of new artists plus 10%. Well, that's kinda useless. They still need to buff the artists somehow. It's a part of the European folk religions group, so all of these religions get slaves working with raw materials. I guess it's cool. I guess it's cool that it even exists in EU5, because in EU4 there was no such thing. Yep, we just needed to get our objective, and this is how quick our war score has changed to a positive value. We have 25% now. Realistically, just a couple more forts and we can take some pretty good demands. We also have been spying on the Mamluks all this time, so we have 96 spy network now. So if you check the siege progress in a particular siege, you can see what affects your siege ability, and we can see that we're getting 20% reduction on the siege phases days. So each siege phase is only 20 days right now. Suppose this is a sequence of events in order to get the Hellenism religion. We're probably not going to switch our religion because it would take us a super long time to convert everything. It would really slow down our progress overall in this campaign. I think we're gonna finish the war right here because we're suffering quite big losses because of lack of food currently. So let's just take what we got. Taking like 3 provinces, we're asking them for war reparations to release all of our slaves and then a little bit of money. Boom, there we go. Our first war with Egypt is done. Now, before too many guys enter the coalition, it's time for this little fella which is inside of our country. Halich. It's always Halich up in our business. They're like the protectors of the Balkans. So we unlock the bark ships. We're just gonna get as many of them as possible to increase our maritime presence. On the left side here, we can see expected navy size, and ours is 95. But I'm pretty sure this works not like Force Summit in EU4, because it at least doesn't show you anywhere if there is like negative to be above the expected size. So if I'm understanding this even correctly, we can just build as many ships as we want and increase our maritime presence to 100 everywhere. I guess we're gonna see if it works like that. But if you guys know for certain, then do let me know in the comments. Okay, Venice, you're annoying me now. You're not supposed to do this bullshit here. I really don't like when the AI thinks it can just freely move around and occupy your stuff. Oh, check this out, guys. We just got a new ruler and he finally has decent stats. We finally have a non-garbage ruler. And we have an actual union now with Muscovy. Muscovy is the senior member, but we have a higher rank. We're rank number 3. They're 47. So we can just click this button. They're gonna lose 100 opinion of us, but we will become the senior member. I just realized that in our union, we already have level 7 integration level. I'm not gonna pretend like I know exactly how this works, but I'm pretty sure because we were like a junior member, it was us joining their existing union where they already passed all these laws. Because look at this, we already have rapid unification of crowns. And of course, we took over the seniority. So all we realistically need to do is improve relations to 190 and we can start the annexation. Alright, so we took a couple of lands from Venice. There's still the island of Crete. There's Carpathos that we will need to take a little bit later. But now we can also finish the Serbian war. And boom, we have the entirety of Serbia. These are beautiful borders. We just need to clean this realistically. We need a war with Venice, another war with Venice, and then we need to fight Naples too. Now we can stop assimilating stuff because we have some actual provinces that we can integrate. So let's go ahead and do that. We don't even need to release subjects here. Guys, it's only 1418 right now and we already have 572 tax base. If we were to set our minting to 0, we have an income of 267. Of course, we can even tax the peasants a little bit more. We can max tax them at 43% loyalty. And this is already us with maxed out stability and legitimacy as well. I think we have a pretty good income right now. We're earning 100 ducats from just diplomacy. Our trade income, however, is pretty garbage. But I guess our trade capacity is not the highest as well. We have 115 in the Constantinople market. We only have 78 marketplaces, guys. Like, there's a lot of space for more. But to be honest, in this patch, I prefer building market villages. They give you trade capacity and some other benefits. I think they're generally better, so let's continue mass building these. Since the Muscovite heir is now our crown prince, and we actually have a say on our current heir's education now, so we're definitely gonna select expensive education because we're earning so much money currently. We need to have as good of a court as possible. Damn, he even got the gallant trait, so he's gonna get more military and diplo ability. That's really good. We unlocked the counting houses and we're going to build all of them. They cost 400 ducats normally, but there's some masonry and glass that you need for them, so if you have the maximum discounts you can reduce the price to around 250. And they give you local crown power, which is good, and they drive up your demands, which makes you have a better economy in general. We need the crown power. We're still sitting somehow a little bit below 25%, so we kind of need to fix this, and we're gonna build and build and build. Also gonna start a war with Naples right now. I really want to take the rest of the stuff here in Greece and maybe a few provinces in Italy. Continue annexing the subjects on the coast. So we can now finally do Epirus as well. They survived for quite a while. Alright, we got a proper army gathered up. Now you're going to feel the wrath, Naples. There we go. Take some of that, sir. That's +4 wars. Or they lost their entire army here. Their entire stack. Naples still has 25,000 levies. Okay, we might need to be a little bit more careful than I thought. I was gonna go and occupy 2 forts at once. We just unlocked our bureaucracy law and we are going with decentralized bureaucracy for the prosperity. Prosperity is priceless, and actually if we check our prosperity map mode, we are pretty green. In most of our locations we have around 50% prosperity, which gives you migration attraction, local monthly development. It's always good to have passive monthly development. You just exist and like a decade later you have massively developed provinces, which is cool to have. A little bit of population growth, we have character life expectancy, which is good. Castile seems very green, they have around 70% in their locations. Well, they do have a unique advance that gives them 0.10%. And it seems like they're going for the free subjects value, and we on the other hand, we have serfdom, so we don't get the bonuses there. Just unlock pound lock canals as well, so that's another building that we're gonna focus on and immediately start building, because it gives you 5% reduction in local proximity cost, and there's only a few locations where we can build those anyway. So we're gonna finish it here, guys. We are not taking the remainder of Sicily, because if we leave it be, then Sicily, our subject, can continue making claims for us as they have cores on these lands. So basically we can repeatedly attack Naples this way. We can do like 2 more wars perhaps, and we can even full annex them later down the line. We need to get rid of some of our forts. Actually, we kind of need to rebuild our country when it comes to forts, because a lot of them were not on province capitals. It's kind of pointless to have these. So we're going to be going on a deleting spree, and we're going to be replacing them with province capital forts so that we can protect our more important locations rather than just random ones. And we need to be a little bit more aware of the fort limit, because we did revoke one of the privileges that increased our fort limit by 10%. We removed one from the nobles estate because we're trying to get our crown power a little bit higher. And of course, the lower power the nobles have, the more taxes we're going to be able to extract from them. Now we're only losing less than 5% maximum tax, as they're at 34% power. We also need to build more bridges, because we built a lot of roads recently, but we have not supplemented them with bridges, and that's going to increase our control. Speaking of control, we also rebuilt our navy, because these past few years have been pretty rough. We haven't really been focusing on increasing our maritime presence, so now I'm compensating by building a crap ton of barks. We also managed to get some heavy ships finally, because we unlocked them, and we're gonna need them to rival other navies such as the Venetian one, because they have a lot of heavy ships. They have 17. But most importantly, now if we look into the maritime presence map mode, we have a lot of blue locations, which means they have a lot of maritime presence. We can see that we have 100 over here in the Icarian Sea, for example. A lot of them have 100. We're gonna have to work a little bit more on these green tiles, so we need to get more barks patrolling the seas in these particular tiles. And this is now how our control is going to look like in the coasts. That's pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Our economy reflects that. We're making a total of 714 ducats total income, and this is without any shenanigans. We have normal taxes for all of our estates. We are paying the maximum for stability, for the cost of the court. There we go, just unlock protected harbors. Might as well get a few of these to increase our control. It's basically control, because you get a harbor capacity, which reduces the proximity. So a few months have passed, and this is going to be an even better representation of our economy that I'm going to show you right now. We are earning 363 ducats monthly, and this is with us reducing our inflation, with us paying maximum for stability, cost of the court. So of course we can reduce the fort maintenance. We could, if we wanted to, increase the minting temporarily. That's already 600. We can reduce cost of the court. Stability, so we have a nice 700 ducat income. But yeah, we're also constantly working on integrating our coastal subjects, so our direct borders are now much bigger than it was before. We have 28 subjects left. Something that I haven't showed you yet is the cultures map mode. We have the majority of Greek culture in our directly owned lands. If we go to our society tab, we can see the culture percentages here. 79% Greek population, 84% of our pops are Orthodox, we have 10% of Catholic pops, we have 5% Sunni, and the rest of the religions make up a very small portion of our total population. Now, we have been chilling for a few years since our last war in Italy, so we have been rebuilding our nation economically, but definitely this would be a time where we can continue wars, continue pushing into Egypt, fight the second war with them. We still need to take Crete from Venice, we need to continue expanding in Italy, we need to finally also fight Hungary to take a Balkan connection with Italy here, if we want to rebuild our peak Byzantine Empire borders. But we can continue working on that in the third part of this campaign if you guys want to see it. Let's get like 1.5 thousand likes on this video and we will continue that. Drop a like, subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.